you're first starting out, there's a bunch of stuff that you can add to your car, your starting car. Obviously, there's somewhere right in the front where you spawn, and then there's quite a few things that also spawn towards the back. For me, I don't have a lot, but usually there's a lot of bunch of stuff that spawns in the back here as well. If you didn't know, if you come to the back of your house at the starting spawn, you have a massive water jug tank here that you can drink out of or fill containers with. All you need to do is go up to it, use it, and it fills up the container. If you feel thirsty, you can also drink from it just by looking up, and you end up filling up your hydration. As you can see, sometimes you may find these boxes laid around the garage. These can be useful, but let's say you do not spawn with one. One usually always spawns at the top of the garage, right here. So all you need to do is just go underneath it, pretty much, just take it. So these boxes are really good for using for storing items because they're very conservative in space, meaning that when you place items onto each other, you can literally merge them onto the same place. So this makes it much better for organizing things, and it can hold a load of food, drinks, and small items. So do take advantage of this. Sometimes if you have a car which is very limited in storage, what you can end up doing is just taking out the seats and just placing it in the back pretty much. You can usually do this with barrels as well. Let's say you do want to take a barrel and you don't really have a storage section. Literally just do the exact same thing. Just take out the seats. So this box is a little bit of a big one. Usually there's a smaller box, but I don't really need a passenger side seat. I'm just gonna leave that there and then just plop the seat back on. Like even this one, I could plop it back on, but it's not very necessary since I am doing this solo. So every time you do spawn in, there's a bunch of RPGs that are on top of the garage. You can take as many as you need. Good thing about RPGs is every time you shoot them, they do reload after a couple seconds. You can just keep firing them again and again and again. And this is very good for like fighting zombies. Another spawn item that you might see when you do spawn in, it's guaranteed actually, is an energy drink that is in the fridge. Uh, Energy drinks are very good compared to normal drinks because as well as filling up your hydration meter, what they can do is they can make you run very fast. And sometimes when you're stranded, um, you do need to sometimes travel quite far, and yeah, this can help speed up the whole process quite a lot. But they are one-time use. But if you do ever come across a vending machine, you can just try to see if you can get it again. But this is very good in terms of it does have a long duration, and yeah, you can go quite a distance with it once you gain speed. Let's say you come across a car that you like and you would want to just take along the ride, even though it might not have any parts in it. What you can do is, if you do find wheels, just place them on the back two wheels, back two locations. Don't ever put them in the front two because when you're towing it, it can cause them to have worse handling and drift. So all you need to do is just place two tires on the back, and then you need to disengage the handbrake. And then once you do that, you just need to line yourself up in front of it and press the T button, and you can take that along with the ride, along for the ride pretty much. Let's say you do come across another shell of a car that you want, and you have a drivable car, you can practically, if you wanted to, you can take these cars. All you need for a car to move is you need a steering wheel, you need to be able to turn it, you need four wheels, you need an engine, you need a car battery, and you need a radiator. You'd also need one pedal for the gas, as well as even though it's not very necessary to move it, but if you want to be able to drive it a little bit better, you would need a shifter as well as the clutch and the brake pedal. But other than that, I think that's all you need to be able to move. And of course, obviously, you just need the fluids to be slightly topped up as well. So across every POI or every place of interest, there's a chance that items such as a turbo might spawn. Turbos are very good if you just want to improve the performance of your vehicle. Every car can take a turbo in the game. So there you go, you can place it there. But some cars can also take two turbos. Not all engines can accept two turbos. Some engines can only accept one turbo. But engines such as the V8 as well as the GTR engine can take twin turbos. So this is one location, and the second one would go on the other side. A good pickup for any vehicle, especially if you're not wanting to tow stuff for storage, is to get one of these overhead storage trays. They can literally attach to any vehicle pretty much. And the reason why these are good is because, similar to the wooden containers, you can place stuff on them and then you can literally just merge it on into the same place. So literally, if you have tires, if you have things that you just want to stack on top of each other, they're very good in terms of space saving and just being able to store a load of things. This is more of a novelty idea or something you just do for fun. Across every so couple POIs, you might come across these gumball machines. All you do is just come up to them and they give you a gumball, and inside each of them they have keychains. And usually there's a map that you can just attach them to, but if you do not find a map, you can literally just attach it anywhere inside the vehicle. I usually like just hang them onto my gear stick very much. So you might see a grating like this every once in a while at a POI. What this practically is a seat mount. So let's say you're carrying people but you just don't have seats. For example, this is a two-seater, you can't really seat people in the back and you're trying to take more passengers along. All you do is you place the seat mount wherever you want, and then you can just place a seat on top of it. And obviously you would just need to rotate it accordingly to how you want, but you can literally use it as an extra seat. So this is another more of a fun idea. Every now and then you might find some items which you can just plug up to your exhaust and it's just there to have fun. This is one of them, the cones. They don't really do anything. Yeah, you can drive along with them and they stay attached to your vehicle. So remember when I said you can stuff dodgy stuff up your exhaust? Well, this is one of them. I don't really want to explain what this is, but literally yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. On our third installment of wacky things you can plug up your exhaust, we have this. It's a chicken. You can plug as many into as many exhausts that you have. Only have one here, but this is what it does. Yeah, me personally, I'm not a fan. In every POI that you come across, there's always stuff that are hidden on top of the roofs. For example, in this one, there's definitely going to be items here, but what you want to do is try to find the lowest point in the roof, and then once you place your driver's seat on top of it, you just press the M key, and it should teleport you on top. But realistically, this might get patched. What I would say is the game does organizes like barrels around the POI that you can usually use to try and parkour your way up to the roof. But yeah, like I said, when you get to the roof, there's a bunch of stuff that you can equip to your vehicle. Every now and then, whenever you do go to place an item in your car, you'll see these colors, these blocks of colors. You might either see it be green or yellow. If it's yellow, that means it's not an original part for the car. You can use it, but it's just not an original part for the car, meaning that if you're trying to restore a vehicle, that part wouldn't suffice. But if you don't really care about restoring a vehicle, which only a small portion of people would probably be focusing on doing, uh, you, then you need to just make sure you should be able to attach it and it should attach. But if you are trying to restore a car, it would show up as green, and then once you do place the item, it will say original part on the item as opposed to, let's say, a random seat. Well, it doesn't say original part on it. And with this seat on, the number's at 29 out of 48 original parts. Whereas with this seat, which is an original part, it goes up to 30 out of 48. So sometimes when you come across every POI, you might see items such as this or trumpet. These are horns that can be used for the vehicle. All you need to do is you need to open the hood, and usually there's like a place where they do end up sitting. Once you find that item, you just need to go in, press the F key, and that's your horn button. Usually when people come to a bar POI like this, they do not do this, but one thing that you should definitely do is check behind the bar to see what's underneath the bar. You might find backpacks such as this, which can hold a lot more storage, and you can have a lot more on your hotkey. And another good thing is you might also find something like this. This is probably one of the best items in the game. These are night vision goggles, and these are very good in terms of just locating items. Let's say there's something on top of the roof, um, and you don't really want to go up there, you just want to scan it before you go up there. You can roughly see what the items are up there. And sometimes the biggest issue that you have with like a game like this is because it's being freshly made, freshly developed, and it's still in early access. There is a lot of bugs, and sometimes a lot of items fall through the floor. This can help locate those items off. Have gone through the floor, and what you can do is, let's say you do find an item that has gone through the floor, all you would need to do is you need to go roughly on top of the location where it is, put the night vision goggles away, and you should usually be able to reach it straight out the ground. Maybe POI or so, you might come across an item like this. This just attaches to your vehicle. I'm not completely sure what it is, but one good thing about this is I usually use it to get these gumballs and to just stick the keychains onto these pretty much. It just makes it a lot more easier to be able to collect these. And usually once you attach them, all you do is just go to your vehicle and you just attach it to your vehicle. And it does look a little bit jankier, I'm not gonna lie, but that's where your keychains are. And it's easier to take rather than constantly coming back and forth to your car and attaching it to somewhere in your car. Every so often, you'll come across machines such as this. What this is if you usually win something on this, you usually win a Steam collectible item, and this is pretty much a cosmetic item, but you also receive it in Steam. Oh, and I want something. What is this? So these are glasses, and pretty much if I equip them, this is how it looks. If I can get a view, this is how it looks, and pretty much once you do unlock it, usually if you do find gift boxes like this, um, they have a chance of spawning inside of them. So every game that you go into, there's a chance that you're able to equip that cosmetic. You probably already know this, but with this machine, you only have a certain number of tries before you're not allowed to spin anymore. And usually this comes off. And cool thing about this is the must go shifter pretty much. So let's say you are trying you don't have a shifter and you're just trying to put a shifter in, you can use this as a shifter pretty much. Actually, never mind. It's not the Moscow thing, but it is a shifter nonetheless. You can use it as a shifter. Let's say your car's in a little bit of a pickle and you have no way of moving it, just because it won't start or it doesn't have any steering wheel. You can pretty much take out your fists and start punching it pretty much. Oh, never mind that. I don't mean this. But yeah, you can just take out your fist and start punching your vehicle and it end up moving the way that you hopefully want it to. Sometimes it's a little bit random in the way that it wants to turn. Your fists are a useful tool. So you can end up towing multiple vehicles at the same time depending on the power of your engine. In order to do that, all you need to do is just line it up roughly in front of it. If I can get enough angle of it, give me one sec. There you go. So all you need to do is roughly line yourself in front of it, and pretty much all you would need to do is just press the T button. Compared to just towing one vehicle, it is not it it doesn't show up in terms of like telling you to press it. So all you need to do is, whilst you can even do it while just sat in the front vehicle, to just press T until it hooks up, and you can practically move up. My car's stuck right now. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't have wheels attached to the back of the towed vehicles, so I'm just gonna let go of these. But if you were to do this, you would all you would need to do, attach wheels at the back of all of the towed vehicles, just not at the front, and disengage all the handbrakes pretty much, and you should be good to go and start a train. So a good item to always have in your inventory is an item such as the trampoline. Trampoline is very good in the sense that it allows you to get to those buildings that you can't reach. You can use this for parkour in terms of like parkour your way on top of a building. But a good thing that you could do is you can use this via an energy drink or even through alcohol. Is once you drink them, obviously alcohol has its downside compared to the energy drink, but once you drink them, you can literally super jump and you can easily just make it over the buildings. Yeah, I over jumped there. I was underestimating it. That reason why you shouldn't really drink alcohol is because it makes you start going all over the place. So if you can drink an energy drink, that's better. But if you're left with the alcohol only, then this is a viable option. You just need to be a bit careful with how far you go. So, anytime you are driving your car and after a certain amount of kilometers, or even if you're driving over rough terrain, over speed bumps at high speed, your tires will have wear on it. So, for example, this tire says very worn. It goes from brand new to slightly worn to very worn, I believe. And then afterwards, it gets to a stage where it says good luck, which means this could pop at any moment. So what you would do in this case is you would make sure you change the tire of this. Take off this one, put on a brand new tire or brand new wheel, and you carry on with your journey. And it says brand new, and you keep on. Even though this isn't the best example of it, let's say there is a scenario where you want to try, where you can hear a mine, but there's loot next to it, and you want to try get to the loot. You can always trigger the mine by using objects such as planks of wood and other objects. All you do is get the plank of wood and you flick it towards the mine, which is there. I'm not the best at this, but I want to try, see what I can do. There we go. And then that mine should disappear and you should be able to loot safely. I used to drive past this all the time, but this is actually a very useful POI. If you do ever come across this toilet cubicle POI, you can use it to duplicate items. For example, you can duplicate a turbo. I luckily have two turbos already. I don't have two tail lights. So let's put that in, and all you do is you just need to put it inside. You get 2 of them. There you go. I believe it's a one-time use. But you know what? Let me try with this, see what happens. Yeah, it's a one-time use thing, but it's a very good POI if you do need 2 or an additional item. This is something neat. If you didn't know, some cars, not all cars, they come with a seatbelt buckle. So if you do hit a pole, you wouldn't go flying out, as opposed to, let me try and demonstrate this. There we go. And when you hit something, usually things go flying around. Let's quickly take this. My car seems to be rolling away. Let's see. If I had a windshield, that would have gone missing. Oh. Now my hood's gone flying. Let's just quickly get this. But yeah, now let's try it with the buckle and see what happens. Nothing really goes missing. I don't know if parts end up flying, but usually if parts do end up flying, what you can end up doing is just getting the night vision goggles and just looking around to see if anything fell off. If you're ever short of a steering wheel, one thing that you can do is, if you do find a wrench, you can use it as a steering wheel to try and steer the car. It's a pretty decent steering wheel as well. Let's say your motor is overheating. One thing you can do is, usually you can have a radiator. Sometimes it can even happen with a radiator which is low on fluids. All you need to do is, sometimes you can just let it cool down and then you can still drive it for a bit. But let's say you're low on fluids, you can literally just pee straight into the tank if you want. Okay, I don't really have much pee in me, but usually you can pee straight into these and it should be okay to let you to keep on, allowing you to keep on driving. I hope you guys enjoyed these tips and tricks. Be sure to comment some more in the comment section if you do know any, and if there are some that I have missed out, be sure to let me know. I'll try and make a second compilation video if possible. But other than that, I hope this has helped quite a few of you who are getting into the game, or even those who who are experienced in the game, to learn quite a few new things. But other than that, I'll catch you guys all on the next video. This is for the restorationists. If you are trying to rebuild a car and restore a vehicle, usually on the wiki page you would see some cars require an antenna. It's not this antenna. This is a cosmetic antenna, which means that you can literally just attach it anywhere. This ain't the antenna that they're looking for. What they are looking for is an antenna that comes with the car. For example, for this car, it's this small antenna, and it usually has a place that it attaches to, and that place for this one at least is at the very front. So remember, it is not the cosmetic antenna that you're looking for. Let's say you need a barrel, but a barrel is full of contaminated fluid. All you need to do is to empty it. It doesn't even need to be a barrel, any container. If it is contaminated and you just want to empty it, you just open it and then you dump it, you turn it upside down and you let the liquid all flow out. Another good thing about any container, what you can do is pretty much, let's say, literally, if you find a car, usually it's full of, like, it's not always full, but it does have a certain level of fuel in it. What you can do is you can siphon it out from the tank within the car. For example, this one has nearly 20 liters of petrol still in it. I could take this barrel, and if you guys can see with the scroll, with a switch in the scroll wheel, I can turn the arrow left, and that allows me to siphon out rather than put in fuel. And this is filling up the barrel with the petrol that was originally in the UAZ. If you ever come across tubing like this, these are pretty much underground tubing that attach to vehicles. So they're like neon lights pretty much. Let's say you're not a fan of the color, literally all you can do is just go to them, get a spray can, and just paint them the color that you want. Then once you do like spray paint it the way that you want, all you need to do is just attach it to your vehicle. For example, let me take on this one. I took that one off and I put on that one. As you can see, it's not on right now. Usually to turn it on, all you need to do is turn the engine off and just power it back on. There we go, and now it's illuminated. So this is a neat trick if you want to take a couple of spare tires or wheels along with you on the journey whilst you're driving. Let's say you like a set of rims, you just keep it on there, and all you need to do with this method is just change the tires. So let's say if you have a small boot and let's say it doesn't fit, there's not much you can do in this case. Usually what you can do is, if you can just take off the tire and just expose the rim by itself, you can get a situation like this where you can just put the rim and that usually fits into the boot or in the trunk pretty much. And all you need to do is just take a tire and just place it on there pretty much, and whenever you need it, you can just take it off, attach it to your rim. Or another a way to the best way to maximize this, if you get a small rim such as this, which is the wheels for the small carts that you can tow along, the trailers, and literally with this you can end up stacking all of them side by side and carrying a lot more than these big rims here. Okay, this one is for those who like to customize their vehicles pretty much. Let's say there's rust on the wheels, you can clear that rust if you just take off the wheel and you use a rust scraper and just scrape on top of it until it clears off pretty much. So that's how you can clear that. Usually with rims, wheels, you can color them according to whatever color you want. Unfortunately with these ones, these are chrome rims, but I do have an example wheel here that I could use, and pretty much you can just do it using the rim alone. But let's say you do want to, you can leave the tire on if you want to. All you need is a spray can, and you can spray directly onto it until it's the color that you want. Another thing is, usually interior parts, you can usually recolor them according to your liking, and you can clear off the rust of certain things within your car, such as the radio, such as the shifter, because they do get rust, as well as the pedals. They all get rust on them after a set amount of time. What you can do pretty much is, after you do clear off the rust, you can end up painting them as well. Let me just get a rust scraper. Usually, because with this Mustang, there's not much you can repaint because it's a very chromy material. Plus, even these seats, you can't really repaint them. This is a seat of a Papoya, and I'll show you how you can repaint interior items as well. See, the seat turns orange, and you can do this with a whole bunch of interior. Some items you can't. For example, this glove box. Let's try it with this. So this glove box you can't. I believe there's not much else you can do within the vehicle itself, but yeah, different vehicles have different customizability, so just have fun and see what you can do, and yeah, just might as well try and see what you can create. So if you come across speed bumps like this, go over them slowly, else it does affect your tires durability, and you would need to replace them a lot quicker. Either go slowly or just slightly go around it if you can. So if you don't know what these are DVD screens that you can attach anywhere on your vehicle. And cool thing about these is you can even attach them on the interior. But you know what? For this sake, I'll just put it on the exterior. And what you can do is once you turn it on, um, there's usually as you go to several POIs, you'll find CDs such as this that you can literally just plug into this. You need to just insert it, and each of them have their own movie pretty much. Yes, I don't know what this is. But yeah, there's a bunch of CDs in the game, and yeah, and end up plugging them into the DVD player and seeing what's what. Sometimes you're carrying very heavy stuff, and let's say you want to take it to your vehicle, but it's at a bit of a distance. One thing that I usually like to do is I look towards the side and then I flick it towards it, and then I can sprint. Because when I am holding this, it doesn't let you sprint, and it can be a little bit annoying. But you just need to get used to this throwing mechanic, and yeah, hopefully you should be okay. One thing that I would say that you do need to be careful of is not to leave any accessories on or any lights on whilst your engine's not running, because it can get to a point where your battery gets to a low level where your car just refuses to turn over. Like it managed to turn over there, but with a load, for example, let's say I turn this laser on, has a 1 amp. You it's been used 1 amp the battery. Then you have this on. Then I turn this one on. Then I turn this DVD on. And then I turn on the lights. And then I turn on the indicator. It goes easily up to 17 amps and 7 amps. It just circulates. And when you'll see, if I try to turn this car over, it makes that noise. It just refuses to turn over pretty much. So you do need to be careful that you do not leave any accessories on, because it can drain your battery to a point where it just refuses to turn over. Some cars with certain engines might require a certain battery to be able to even start. So, for example, if you had the GTR, which isn't this is the Moscow, but if you had the GTR, you would need the 71 amp battery, whereas this one is only the 50 amp battery. And yeah, you would need that battery to turn it over. I believe if you use a battery lower than that or a battery that's not fully loaded, it just would refuse to turn over, because certain cars do require certain battery levels. And one example is the IFA, which is the big truck. One thing that I would say is whenever you are using a car, just keep it running. Just turn off the indicator as well as the light. And because once you keep it running, what happens is this battery starts recharging again, and you can see it's slowly going up, and eventually it will get full. And the only thing that would usually go down is just the petrol, but that's a lot more easier to fill up. If you are ever playing multiplayer, one thing that I would say, let's say you're playing with the setting where someone can die. In order to revive another person who is in multiplayer, it's always good to have a spare battery. And what you can do with that battery is go and give them, I don't know what the word is, but you can literally give them chest, electrocute them so that they wake up. But in doing so, it does use quite a few of the charge that's on the battery. So you do need to be careful with your batteries, and it's always good to carry a couple spare. This is for anyone who's a car restoration, or anyone, to be fair, who is building a car, or even taking apart a vehicle. Sometimes cars have interior lightings. This is one of them for the Pontiac or the Pontiac. Usually, this goes in the inside on the top, but it can be sometimes hard to come across it. Even though I found it there, it's not always possible, and especially if you don't know where the placement of it is. One thing that you can do is I usually put a seat in first, and then take the light and then just place it near the shifter, sit in it, pick it up, and it's much easier to place it. And this is equally good. Doesn't seem to want to attach, but this is equally good when you're trying to take apart parts of the vehicle, especially when you're trying to restore your own vehicle and you find the exact same vehicle. Can I do it from here? Possibly. Okay, this car is a little bit odd, but usually with any other car, you can usually do it. But yeah, once you find that, you can roughly guess where it should go, and then you can just stick it in, and there we go. Hope that helps. Sorry guys, I just got distracted there. I don't know what that is about. But pretty much another tip that I wanted to give you guys is the two different types of spray cans. Usually if you place them down, for example this is red and this one is purple. Usually if you place them down, you can see one's black in terms of the outer body, the other one's white, and the top indicates the color that they give out. The white ones, they're usually just the plain gloss color. So if I spray it, it's just like the plain gloss color. And the black ones, they're metallic. So whenever you do spray it on a car, it can sometimes change how it looks in terms of the lighting, depending during the day and during the night. Yeah, these are what the two colors are, and the two different type of paint cans there are. So be sure if you are trying to color match that you're finding the same one, because it can look a little bit weird if you try to combine both. So this is for the car restorationists. Usually if you like to do it the way that I do and you're trying to restore a car completely, I usually find ruined cars of the same vehicle that I'm trying to rebuild, and I try to strip it all down to zero. One thing that you would realize is that with every car, by default, there's four things that are usually always part of a car. Two of them actually are the visors. Literally every car comes with them. Two of them are the visors. One of them is the handbrake. The handbrakes differ based on the vehicle, and the other one is the ignition. Usually all four of these parts are already part of the vehicle and you don't ever really need to worry about it. But if you just like to completely make everything come to zero, those four items are usually items that are always part of a vehicle. Last but not least, all gas stations are able to blow up. You can directly just shoot an RPG directly at the gas pumps, or you can pull away the gas pump pretty much from its place just by trapping it inside your trunk. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.